Brahma. Martial arts. Shrimanacharya Jayesh Bhagwanji Chitroda. Brahma. What is Yudhshastra? The evolution of the Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom saw the implementation of Yudhshastra or martial arts. The reason to protect kingdoms and commercial enterprise led to the introduction of Yudhshastra for policing measures. These aspects of basic defense led to creation of several military orders that had different coordination within the Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom. As the regiments grew, knowledge of Yudhshastra was taught to the public, military and police services. Various systems were created from yoga, empty hands combat, forms, weapon fighting systems, medical disciplines, spiritual systems symbolic to my ancestor Bhagwan Gautam Chitroda. Most forms are completed Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom winning battle moves that resonates as emblematic iconic stances that were used to destroy the enemy in battle and serve as remembrance to the great achievements of my ancestors. Brahma. Purpose of martial arts. The purpose is to accomplish students in aspects of complete martial arts with using the four basic structures. The first aspect is yoga or the warming up of the body using limbs, muscles, stance work, postures, breathing exercises focusing on stamina and endurance to understand the threshold of the body with its limits in relation to oneself. The second point is the empty hands or empty feet where attack and defense aspects are learned and drilled with partners to understand speed, strength, sensitivity, pressure points, holds, body locks. The third aspect is to learn weapons ranging from swords, spears, shields, staffs, archery, guns etc., teaching the adaptation of length and movement to a moving or fixed target with various aspects of eye and body coordinations using sensitivity and judgment. The final aspect is learning the fixed forms of the entire itihas or history of battles, learning sequential movements that differ from the previous sets learned. This aspect is known as the spiritual aspect of Yudhshastra, as to invoke and feel the winning postures and movements that killed the enemy. During this stage, various breathing exercises of yoga are learned, producing noises and sounds as once heard during battles. This invokes mood or energy manifestation due to altering blood pressure, adrenaline and neurological impulses whilst keeping rational control on the body, consciousness and character during this physical or spiritual invocation. Many martial arts practitioners often become homeopathy students and further their knowledge with the natural aspects of Ayurveda study in relation to testing combinations of herbs and natural therapy, adding to the library of planetary research. Brahma. Origin of martial arts. Yudhshastra or martial arts originated from the Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom from my ancestor Bhagwan Gautam Chitroda. The completeness of every rank and structure order took over several yugs and mahayugs to develop by my ancestor Bhagwan Kartikaya Chitroda that made it public. There are two stages of the introduction to martial arts as we understand it. The first is the completed fighting system and military warfare of my ancestral Bhagwan Gautam Chitroda Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom during the first planetary age that developed and added to forms until my ancestral Bhagwan Krishna Chitroda kingdom empire during the Dwarpan age. The second stage of the martial arts systems took place in the Kalyug age and ended in 2012. During Kalyug, various Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom armies remigrated to India and broadened human occupation on the planet once more, adding to policing and military levels required to preserve human freedom. Restrictions were placed on who could learn martial arts due to requirements of creating global policing and military presence over the planet, so martial arts was only taught to high-ranking public members and families that contributed to the evolution and globalization of the planet. The knowledge of human physiology was already completed by my Bhagwan Krishna Chitroda empire and hidden in mandir complexes around the world that were buried underneath mud and silt as lakes, Rivers, oceans and glaciers covered the landscape due to climate change. The Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom created Hindu ranks. Khumbar or Prajapati is the highest holy caste of Hinduism, above all ranking and divisions, able to have professions as they choose, known as Ichartari, then Kshatriya as army military services, and then Indian Hindu Gujarati Rajputs as wholesales or business people. The classification of Kshatriya and Rajputs ranks are dependent on tracing to my direct family lineage. The Brahmins or Brahmins are not part of the Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom, culture, religion, caste or identity system, and noted their own independence history to the British during colonial times in the 19th century as Shudra or street cleaners, public waste refusal, janitors, sewage management etc., Vaishya or small shopkeepers and business owners, Kshatriya or trustable son umbrella holders for Khumbar/royals/imperials. And their final title is Brahmans/Brahmins. Please note that Brahmans and Brahmins are not traceable to the aged Indian Hindu Khumbar governments of Bhagwan Brahma Chitroda, as the title of Brahman or Brahmin means refugees that have been domesticated by Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom ideals and culture. And therefore within the Indian Hindu system only Indian Hindu Khumbars, Prajapatis, Kshatriyas, Rajputs were applicable to learn martial arts or Yudhshastra. Brahma. Evolution of martial arts. Martial arts have taken two main forms of practitioners, one that is traditional and one that is a modern hobbyist. The traditional martial arts, as practiced before the Dwarpan age, teaches the student to wake up every day to witness the sunrise and to start activating the internal energy as to synchronize himself or herself to nature and the life force of the universe. This is known as the first step, called Bhagwan Suryadev Chitroda Namaskar, abbreviated to Suryadev Namaskar. The traditional practitioner becomes a vegetarian and cannot eat meat whilst understanding harmony and intellect with all life forms. For example, a traditional martial artist must harvest milk to alleviate the pain of a cow when excess milk is gathered in the cow's udder or milking sac, causing the cow discomfort. The modern hobbyists are not bound to any rules apart from the theology of the class. They can eat meat or become vegetarian depending on their own requirements. There is no fixed form or rules. Non-traditional martial arts are usually a mixture of different styles, aspects or teachings produced to make an effective martial arts system known as sports, and often take part in commercial competitions. There is no spiritual aspect to it, as it is considered as enterprise for healthy living and lifestyle. Traditional martial artists date their systems to millions of years ago and preserve an ancient art form, whereas hobbyists usually have a establishment date for their art and proceed with franchising and branding. Traditional martial artists will not teach every student, whereas modern schools teach anyone willing to pay for classes and has good social conduct. Brahma. Historical value. The Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom has more relevance and history to martial arts than other people or communities by clear ancestral linkage and history. Many non-Indian Hindu Khumbars practice martial arts and have no real connection to it. Many are faulted by bad manners, conduct and etiquette when trialed by Indian Hindu Khumbars and fail to demonstrate any kind of honor, respect or understanding of natural awareness, sometimes called Tao by non-Indian Hindu Khumbars. This leads to the non-conformity of martial arts, as there is no syncretic understanding to any kind of spirituality, peace or meditation practiced. The Indian Hindu Khumbar language and culture doesn't require Tao, as the language is mathematical calculation based on spiritual concepts of command through ancient evolution of practicality. It is also important to understand that non-Indian Hindu Khumbars cannot ever become masters or gurus to Indian Hindu Khumbars based on the natural fact of already being taught various martial arts and movements by their own parents. And therefore martial arts or any kind of instructors, teachers or gurus cannot have any rights or claims to Indian Hindu students or people. An example of this is Indian Hindu Khumbars and non-Hindu Khumbars attending the Indian Hindu Khumbar festival of Navratri and practicing Garba, where parents in mass gatherings teach their own children Indian Hindu Khumbar martial arts moves and weapons fighting as composed by my ancestral kingdom of Bhagwan Krishna Chitroda. Hence completing the proverb that my mother and father are the greatest guru, teacher and instructors that I have. Thus a valid collective source to the Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom is established and created through movement and martial warfare. Brahma. Cultural value. The set standards of daily routine existed only for Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom people, like a fixed circuit of installation from the Atta Codex. Every official was trained in martial arts and given fixed work roles, later developing into military ranks. This method created all military ranks on the planet as we know today and is a concept from where everybody understands routine and time adherence with public social discipline. Many Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdoms grew and flourished with coordination and synchronicity with the discipline of the Indian Hindu Khumbar martial arts system as to have meaning for life and purpose to serve and grow the community with a fixed calculated Atta code. Many cultural arts and crafts were produced to celebrate these achievements, often celebrated by festivals and rituals. The study of Bodhi Dharma, meaning brain logic, was commercialized by my ancestor Bhagwan Gautam Chitroda, also commercially known as Buddha the Shirodri. In the 5th century he opened many old scriptures and translated them into logic encompassing martial arts values to a set level, as all his 95% of the people he was around were all military families retiring from his grandfathers. Bhagwan Chanakya Chitroda, Global Archaeological Expedition. Present-day values of martial arts have shown installations within military, police, private sector defense, security services and recreational fitness with sports attributes. Brahma. Spiritual value. The spiritual value of all martial arts leads to the source of martial arts creation to find its original purpose and then to expand on knowledge based on the source to create enterprise to further expand on its disciplines. All Indian Hindu Khumbar martial arts are the starting point, and the spiritual aspects cannot be taught as they exist within the Indian Hindu culture and daily lifestyle as a result of the Atta Codex. Non-Indian Hindu Khumbars cannot practice or understand the spiritual side of Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom martial arts, as the language itself is made from the Atta and carry the frequency patterns of every sound through words and cultural recognition. Hence mediation is a tool to calm the mind and create a reset to help understand the Atta. It is not a tool to create differences in society but only to find the logic of it. As it can be seen that modern societies have developed an inverse logic of traditional societies and culture with an overspill of useless unwanted information and understanding. Daily prayer is the method within the Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom, with mantra languages that provide focus and directions of promoting positive energy, though specific sound and word frequency that provide positivity. Practical comprehension of this energy have been known as Jeev, Prana, Chi, etc. The powers of the human body are great in reaching new heights within a traditional Indian Hindu Khumbar logic that teach how humans evolved on the planet. Tantra is a method of science and embodies focus and well-being for people using different subjects and topics. Many tantrics were seen as bad people, as they may have been seen practicing medical operations in an open ground and having nishad people not understanding medical science, expanding their own cultural belief factors to unrealistic values in the interim of contemporary society. Brahma. Bodhi Dharam. Bodhi Dharam was a subject taught by my ancestor Bhagwan Gautam Chitroda from archaeological excavations, commercially known as Buddha. Picture to the right, Bodhi Dharam crossing the Yangtze River on a branch dated 1336 and remains safe in my ancestral Japanese heritage library showing Bhagwan Gautam Chitroda. The date of the original picture is a lot older. Bhagwan Gautam Chitroda lived in India, Gujarat, Kutch at Maibujio fortress. History agrees with Indian Hindu Gujarati language at a codex. The Chinese/Japanese/Korean/Thai and Indian Chan family are all descendants of military personnel from my ancestor Bhagwan Chanakya Chitroda kingdom known as the Army of the East. Brahma. Integration and use of martial arts. The integration of martial arts can be started with the basic concept of alarm clock, waking up at a set time and performing regular routines like yoga, washing up, breakfast etc. until the free time is achieved, in where the person has choice on how to use the day and time. These concepts were forced onto people as they did not have the basic waking up ritual as taught by the Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom. Martial arts is an expanded celebration of these keen factors of discipline with great statutes and murti of these achievements summarized by attitude yoga forms known as Surya Namakshar Yoga and the military form consisting of an aggressive energetic awakening set sequence of Bhagwan Surya Dev Chitroda illustrating the power of the sun. There are many set forms and sequences to start the day and provide the correct mindset channeling the correct energy required. Many military services people and public hobbyists use martial arts to celebrate creation and its attributes, providing focus on the day ahead with a positivity, harmonizing the body by starting to raise the natural insulin in the body to catalyze or start the natural body engine into start processing itself, waking up the organs to start functioning, and so the blood achieves a good pH level and creates natural pressure to help blood circulation around the body. Good natural foods act as a catalyst to achieve many great feats within the body as required. For example, after waking up and performing martial arts forms then consuming ashwagandha at breakfast, the body produces more or extra strength, or eating a blend of chawanprash to obtain a total body cleanse and boost immunity, repairing the body. There are many factors to why the Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom armies trampled over every bit of land, analyzing all aspects of life and vegetation. Pictures of India, Gujarat, Kutch Fort. Brahma. Martial arts, social standing and caste. Martial arts is a form of preservation and many people practice it as they believe they were warriors in some regard. Only Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom people can be traced to ancient martial arts systems and architectural values with words that make up the style or system. Many countries only obtained their independent military and armies in the 19th century after having people trained to wear armor but have no understanding of warfare. For example, Europe has no form of martial arts or fighting heritage even today. However, books written on past European history lead the public astray on the civil history and reality of their own countries. The same is of African natives, where only tribal spears for hunting food stock were only ever developed or made. No martial arts existed. The same can be said with Arabs, Western Asian countries to India, where there is no martial arts system or army styles, many of which in those countries were made from watching TV or film or reading books. The only countries that have ever had formal martial arts belonging to the Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom are China, Japan, Thailand, Korea and India. Summarizes as poem: India, Korea, Thai, Japan. China equals the flame in the holder made Bhagwan Jayesh Bhagwanji Chitroda of Mangal Dev dynasty. Steel time consolidated to the flame sits in the holder having 56 styles of Bhagwan Mangal Ram Chitroda. The poem notes that are only 56 official and proper Indian Hindu Khumbar martial arts that are ancient and can only be regarded as traditional. Many of the buried scriptures were found in India over the past 2000 years and led my ancestors of my Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom to create the names of countries like India, Korea, Thailand, Japan and China that place together poems of my ancient Indian Hindu kingdoms through a code. Brahma. Well-being philosophy. The pathway of martial arts is to provide rigorous training and mind cultivating through classroom-styled methods to release aggression with coordination. This method teaches how to control feelings and insulin charges to the body, providing control. In the past, martial arts was a tool used to train warriors for war and to overthrow tyranny. Wars were waged and evil kingdoms were destroyed to correct the order, as the logic of the Attar keeps life and the true history of the universe intact, not letting it stray from reality to avoid the human race to be controlled by matrix systems. Martial arts presently is returning to society based on its physical sport and well-being aspects, creating many health consciousness people that love to keep fit and at the same time practice non-violence. The pathway of martial arts is non-exploitation of spirituality and the practice of good health, with training to summarize the education through personal viewpoints defined in philosophy, poems, art, calligraphy, music, etc. A personal attainment by martial artists is to expand the martial arts philosophy to at least 5 expansions of oneself. Where my own father Bhagwanji Mepa Chitroda and mother Bhagavati Pushpaben Bhagwanji Chitroda taught myself traditional Indian Hindu Khumbar martial arts, and I went on to teach 5 Indian Gujarati Hindu students including my younger brother. Brahma. Evolution of martial arts. Martial arts has many key aspects to its evolution. The Indian Hindu Gujarati Khumbar kingdom shows the most completed system of martial arts through the celebration at the autumn Navratri, where Garba is practiced and performed. Garba is a complete mechanism of royal imperial martial arts as created by my Bhagwan Kartikaya Chitroda family dynasty and completed by my Bhagwan Krishna Chitroda family dynasty. The art itself is performed for around 5 to 8 hours for 9 days of Navratri and 1 day of Dashahara. During Garba, people circle the deity located within the middle of the congregation. Various structures of mandali, representatives of orders defined as groups, form orbits similar planets around the sun. The mandalis all practice various steps and stances that are very complicated and illustrate various battlefield or warrior movements, whilst all in close range with each other as to move fast with entry and exit points. There are set pattern movements also recognizing other mandalis that all synchronize with movements like a multitude of waves in the sea. Each mandali acknowledges each other by striking each other's dandiya, J staff, 2 feet wooden decorated staff, whilst all synced with thudding the ground and the sound of hitting each other's dandiya in tune to the Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom Garba music. Each Garba hall usually has thousands of people all dancing to the music, celebrating the Royal Imperial Indian Hindu Khumbar warrior remembrance. Garba acts like a simulation of the past battlefield wars as it is very intense. My ancestor Bhagwan Anand Chitroda created the J staff or dandiya in celebration to my birth, and continuous Attar then installed the use of them within the festival, replacing swords, spears, machetes, knives and other weapons, making it more social to other Indian Hindus. The practical aspects of Garba introduce many questions, as even the fittest of martial artists and sports people that exercise regularly cannot last during the 6 to 8 hours of Garba, and the old men and women from the Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom that do not regularly exercise can continue for 6 to 8 hours for 10 days in a row. These traits are known as spiritual Indian Hindu Khumbar martial arts and have warrior martial arts that are not found anywhere in the world apart from within the Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom festivals. Brahma. Navratri Garba Theology. The concept of Navratri Garba is one that begins when all other martial arts finish and the highest belt or ranking has been achieved. As to understand battle formations with total body awareness and group regiment and ranks. Garba starts with fighting multiple people within a length or set pattern with heavy endurance as to last until the end. There are multiple techniques and set patterns within Garba that include styles that are symbolized and shown on the garbo, traditional clay pot with a devo lamp placed inside it, that are decorated in patterns, triangles, Indian Hindu Gujarati words and even star constellation patterns. The set formations of Garba include Ek Thali, 1 clap, Bhe Thali, 2 claps, and Tran Thali, 3 claps, and Sanero that represent coordinated stance and footwork, blocking and attacking movements with or without weapons. The Dhundiyu represents fighting strategies of the spider, mantis, scorpion, snake, lizard etc. The Dandiya Ras or Rasta includes fixed Chakraview practice teaching entrance and exit into and out of the battlefield. The Gauf includes taking chariots hostage by tying the king or dignitary up against the chariot's central column without killing them. The Chitkoh represents the emergency royal bodyguard formation fighting on the battlefield for locating my ancestor. There are many technical moves and aspects of the Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom Garba that form the complete history and ancient martial arts as once fought on the battlefield. Brahma. The Garb. The philosophy of the Garb is the sphere. The Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom martial arts system. The person imagines themselves and safety in the surrounding space within the sphere. The Garb creates a three-dimensional space around the practitioner providing awareness. The practitioner learns about the quadrants within the sphere to understand attacking and blocking strategies and transitioning. If two fighters get near each other, they focus on the quadrants of each other's spheres where attacks can be made, often resulting to a beautiful creative fight with unorthodox moves to the fighter's own ability whilst keeping deity form or spirit. Brahma. The Garbo. The Garbo represents the human jiva as represented by a devo inside the Garbo. The round shape represents the Garb or sphere. The holes within the Garbo represent set days or patterns of practice depending on the mandali's coordination. Patterns on the Garbo represent styles of Garba from triangle movements, astrological star constellation fighting and even fixed word formation. The light that illuminates through the Garbo represent attacking and strikes. Brahma. The Chakraview. This is a Chakraview shape. It represents the battlefield arts of the Garba. Indian Hindu Khumbar kingdom military strategy, training and testing or grading. The person enters and then must pass the set of exponents, all practicing synchronized movements either side, blocking the path the entrant. Practiced with empty hands or with weapons. Each set of exponents practice different movements with a total of 13 or 9 styles with around 20 people per style paired up to create the path. The skilled person moves through the exponents as if he or she is passing a set of moving swords with fixed movements as the exponents do not get involved with the entrant and continue their routine. The entrant must block the exponent's attacks of the fixed sequence and continue the motion for them, acting as an intermediary moving past the exponents to reach the next style. Brahma. Navratri Garba. Various styles of Navratri Garba celebrations. Empty hands fighting. Stance and footwork. Weapons. Military regiments and war strategies. Private battlefield armies. Brahma. Bhagwan Gautam Chitroda. Then inventor of public martial arts. Khumbar Chitra shows him with crown and a mopich or peacock feather highlight himself as the commander of armies, also indicating his father died or left when he was a child. Inventor of Garba and Navratri celebrations. Brahma. Bhagwan Anand Chitroda. The creator of Navratri Garba system. Khumbar Chitra of Bhagwan Anand Chitroda sitting on his throne known as the Khumbakt throne. Replayed ancestral family chakra time naming by my great-great-great-grandfather Bhagwan Anand Chitroda. Introduced the Dandiya, J staff, to Garba, removing all weapons. Dandiya, J staff, dedicated to myself through family continuous atta. योद्धा की पहचान बनती है तलवार की धार से, हमसफर का शान बनता है आंखों की पहचान से, धर बनती है पहचान से, पहचान बनता है धर से.